Hey guys, this is Tim from Tabletop Terrors, and I'm here with Be a Better Game Master, Barker from Matt Click's A Fistful of Dice, and James, my brother, and Bill Cosby impersonator. I started to get a little bit of a Tim Bill Cosby voice going.
You did get
I'm not sure what that was.
A little bit. No, but for real, welcome to A Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt. I'm joined again by Barker and James, and we're going to do another episode of Telltale Trinkets. Tim is here as well. He's going to help us out. But listen, guys. So, we're going to use the back of Tim's skull as a dice tray. I'm going to let these guys roll a trinket on the trinket table from the Player's Handbook, D&D 5th edition, and we're going to come up with some cool stuff using one of these trinkets.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it.
60.
60. Okay, so 60 is a glass eye.
Oh, shit. Taki mushrooms.
There's nowhere else.
Sauteed in olive oil.
Well.
Everyone knows that one, right?
Yeah.
A glass eye. That's a cool one.
That is cool.
I'm excited about that. Okay, James, kick us off. Glass eye. What are you thinking?
Okay, so remember that these are trinkets that you can either roll for as a player or as somebody that is, as a GM for people to find.
Yep.
But glass eyes, I'm gonna start with the easy one. Glass eyes can just be glass eyes. Mm-hmm. Sort of a creepy thing that people wear when they lose their eye. Especially in a fantasy world where it's maybe not, if people have a fake eye nowadays, it's not literally a glass eye they pop in and out, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But like literally, this is a glass round ball that somebody would put in their head to kind of float around because they didn't have an eye anymore.
Yeah.
And it could just be that, but it could be, the old glass eye of the captain, the pirate captain or something.
Yeah, exactly. And what you said is something neat, that it could be completely mundane. Mm-hmm. You could pick an NPC. If you give them a glass eye, automatically they're going to be remembered.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah. So, even if it's not a trinket, just...
Yeah. Anything like that you can give, any physical thing that you can give a non-player character, it's way easier to remember. You're like, oh, it's the guy with the wooden leg, it's the guy with the glass eye. Usually it's some sort of physical deformity.
Yep.
Or a loss of a limb. I don't know why that is. It's usually like a scar or something like that.
Can I talk about two glass eyes from fiction that I immediately thought of and are inspirational? The first one is Bill the Butcher's from Gangs of New York.
Yep.
He has a glass eye that I believe is the seal of the United States of America.
It is in the pupil, and the thing I remember about that is him tapping the knife on the glass eye. That is such a memorable thing. Can you imagine a character in a D&D game just like tapping the tip of a knife right on his glass eye?
Yeah, or like seriously, that would freak me the hell out.
Just the sound it makes.
I can't even think about it anymore. Let's go to the next one.
What was the other one? No, what was the other one?
Mad Eye Moody.
Yes.
He has a glass eye, but this is magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. How?
It's actually perfect.
He can see through the back of his head.
Yeah, he can see through the back of his head.
He can move it around and see everywhere.
He can see everywhere. He can see invisibility cloaks, things that are supposed to be invisible. He can see them. It's
sort of like an all-seeing eye.
Yeah, exactly. Through walls.
The thing that immediately sprang to my mind was the NPC Mere Stone Gaze from the Provokers. Yes. It wasn't a glass eye. It was made out of stone, but it had a rune for people, and he could tell when people were lying.
Yeah.
And he could like read people's thoughts and be like, oh, I can tell you're nervous. And I really like that because it was always it would skeeve people out, and everyone assumed he was a villain because he's like looking at you with a stone eye and detecting your thoughts.
Yes.
It's like, that's villain.
Yeah, it is.
That's villain behavior, So that made him a memorable character.
Yeah, for sure. I like that.
So
actually, as a player, if I rolled that trinket, I might even consider not just having it, but having me have a glass eye.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Like, my character has a glass eye.
That would be really neat, because it's like the trinket is usually like the last thing you do.
Yeah.
So it's like you create your character, you've got an idea of what they are, maybe you have their background, their equipment and stuff, and then you're like, oh, and he lost his eye and he has a glass eye. How did that happen?
I love letting just the character creation process color the, other things about my character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, you tell me what Telltale Trinkets is. But I think we would be doing a disservice to the people watching if we did not create a glass eye for them to put in their game.
I like
Absolutely.
That.
Yeah, let's do I like an idea they can steal. Roll open dice.
Awesome.
Okay, let's do it.
Who wants to kick it off?
Well, you can very much do a Mad Eye Moody style eye where a person, maybe they'd have to replace their own eye with it. Mm-hmm. But if they did, they would be able to see things.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a sacrifice, and it's maybe dangerous. But if a character is willing to maybe lose a point in something or get a negative to things that required sight, they could
Yeah.
then have like true sight.
Yeah.
So this eye would have some sort of ability.
Like a great example of this is the Eye of Vecna. You guys familiar with the artifact, the Eye of Vecna? Okay,
A little bit.
it's a really powerful artifact. You literally have to cut your own eye out to be able to use it.
Oh, so I
That's
just
it?
stole
That's
that
all?
idea.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's it.
I read that,
Yeah.
and I just had that same idea, but I didn't realize I stole it.
There's also
from
a
the
Hand of
player's
Vecna,
handbook.
which you have to
That's
cut your hand off for.
Okay.
You have a Hand of Vecna. There's also a joke item called the Head of Vecna, which if you can get your players to decapitate themselves, they're like, well, you cut your head off, so you're dead. You can't use the Head of Vecna. You can't just be like, okay, now
Vecna was
this
the
on.
trickster.
Yo! But no, I love that idea. Like you have to sacrifice something in order to use it.
Like you can't just look through it or something.
Yep. Now, okay, but that's a cool idea.
We need to figure out what powers this thing has then.
If you cut your own eye out.
Yeah.
I think that it is okay. I think it's you can see through the walls of the planes.
Oh, nice.
Specifically, the prime planes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
Material Plane, Shadowfell, Feywild.
Awesome.
Because they're mirrors of each other.
Mhm.
So
you
you
kinda
can
see.
you can like filter like I'm gonna look into
Like
the Feywild.
Predator vision.
Like
Predator vision. Yes.
Like I can see into the Shadowfell. I can see into the Feywild. The reason why I like this idea is maybe it's like a one-off item. Maybe there's a puzzle or a mission that the players are on that they have to be able to see into both the Feywild, the Material Plane, and the Shadowfell at the same time.
Man, that's cool.
And one of it, and it's like the only way you guys can use this is one of you has to replace an eye with it. But it's crucial that you finish this mission.
Like it's almost like those Zelda games where you have
Yes.
to line up the puzzle pieces so
Yeah.
they form the triangle.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Exactly like that. I was thinking also if they're tracking somebody and they see maybe someone went missing, and then maybe 10 sessions later someone finds this eye and they cut out their own eye and they put it in there, and they see that person, but they're in the Feywild now, and it's like,
It's like
wait,
I gotta track you through the Feywild
Yeah, exactly.
while I'm on the
we
Material
gotta
Plane.
find this person. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What if a player got captured? What if one of your players got captured and somebody replaces their eye forcibly?
Oh.
So like suddenly they start seeing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
like
think that would be really
They're like
cool.
walking down the
You have a
street,
glass eye now.
and
like
there's
a
a freaking-
demon like jumps
yeah.
at them and they're like, oh, I'm seeing into the Shadowfell right now.
Yes.
What this reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. It's a Denzel Washington movie. It's not Flight.
It's not fun. I don't care.
It's called Deja Vu.
Oh.
And they have a set of goggles where he can look
I have
into.
seen that movie years ago.
This ain't no bank robbery.
Yeah. No, he can see into the. I think it's either the future or the past with these
I
goggles.
think it's a little bit in the future.
He gets into a car chase while wearing the goggles, so he's in a car chase in the present while also looking into the future.
The future of what is about to happen.
Yeah,
and he's trying. It's like he's doing both.
So it's like, imagine if your player had one eye, they're looking into the Feywild with
Yeah.
one eye, they're seeing the Material Plane with the other, so it's almost like a superimposing.
Yes.
So it's like, and what if they're in some sort of chase or a combat or something
Yep.
where they're using this eye?
and if they saw something
Wow.
they see all the time, like a demon in the Shadowfell, and suddenly it's jumping, and at this point they're used to it.
Yeah.
But it's really in the material.
Yeah, it's actually a demon coming out.
Right,
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
jumped on you.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I really like that idea. I think that would be
I
really
love
cool.
that plot point too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you just see another vampire spawn. It's all right.
Yeah.
Oh God! Like it's actually attacking
It's actually
you.
here. Something came through.
Roll initiative. Oh God!
No, I really like that idea of having to, like, you get a great example of like Zelda. Like in Skyward Sword, there's an item where you can you're in the present, but you can also turn it on and be in the past in a very localized area.
Something like that in A Link to the Past too.
Yes, there's
Yep.
something like that in A Link to the Past. So imagine doing something like that in D&D, not with time necessarily, but with the different planes, because the
Yeah.
planes are really fun to play with. You could do it with the elemental planes, the prime planes, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
I think that'd be really neat.
The best part though is your idea of the sacrifice.
Yes.
That right there is what gives the item super character.
Yes.
Like, yeah. I love
That adds something that is unique to that item. It's not just something you get, hey, cool, new magic belt, put it on.
Exactly.
Sweet, +2
Yeah.
strength, you know?
That's it.
It's
You
like,
just
no,
do-
you gotta cut your eye out and then pop it in.
This sort of applies, but I ran a game once where someone wanted to take control of a hobgoblin force, like an army, and the only way they would follow him is if he cut his own hands off, because their savior had cut their hands off.
Okay,
So
very
they actually he said, okay, we'll do it, and he never could use his hands again, but he got the army, but because of that, he never didn't use that army.
Yeah, I mean, that's your sword now.
That's your
Like,
dang
I
sword.
can't wield the weapon, but I do have 500 hobgoblins.
Exactly. So yeah,
That's
it's just
really cool.
it makes it bigger in the player's eyes, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the one of the biggest character building moments you can ever present a character with is like, here's a like very real sacrifice that you have to choose to make right now,
Yes.
and it's gonna have a little bit of benefit towards you, but it's mostly gonna be for the greater good.
Yep.
Other powers it could have, especially if you wanted it to be a little less crazy, or if you didn't want them to be able to see everything, would be what if it were an eye that could read any language? You know, sort of translate any language.
Something like that would be awesome.
You know, and it'd be okay, kind of cool. Maybe this character is a sort of a a librarian or something, and they roll this trinket, and you talk to them, and they end up you give them that just sort of as a role play thing.
Yeah.
And then eventually they come across a language that no one can read, but now they can.
Nice.
Whether it's an ancient language where they go into somewhere and they're like, oh yeah, that's the thing that we're currently working on translating, and they know all of it.
That's awesome.
And now their trinket is part of the plot.
Yeah. Love that.
I like that. Or they can see magic. Like they can see the flow of magic in the world. It's like there's not really a lot you can do with that, but it's just cool.
But then at some point they see a lot of magic in one place. The GM mentions, and you're like, oh well, what's there?
It's a bleak storm.
Or they go, hey, you're going to this banquet. There's going to be an assassin there with an enchanted dagger trying to kill the king. And they're looking around, and there's like a swirl of wind around this one guy who's just like walking around. He's like, oh, there he is.
Like, there he is.
Yep. See, lots of options there.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to leave it there. I think that's perfect.
I haven't said anything for 10 minutes.
Hey, but listen, guys.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've come to talk with you again. I can't go any further than that.
That's as close as it
And
gets.
the image of Tim's face is pixelated.
So Tim, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, dude, it was great.
Yeah.
Great to
see
see
you.
quiet a little bit.
My shoulders are a little small.
You need them to be broader.
Like this, you just elbow their shoulders. These are my shoulders now. We're all shoulders now.
We're all shoulders now.
Oh, Lord. All right. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave you with this episode of Telltale Trinkets. There's going to be more to come. I thank these guys for helping me out and get this series kickstarted here. Kickstarted. We had a Kickstarter.
Yep, we did.
$12 million. We've owned copy of the PHB. The rest we're going to live off from.
My mom donated $20 to my Kickstarter.
Oh, apparently. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care, and happy gaming all.